Your episode 2 of Generation Z podcast with your host, your boy X. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the NFC and AFC championship game. We're going to talk about the quarterbacks and how they measure up. We're going to talk about the defenses and how they did this season in the last 2 games that everybody's been playing in the postseason. We're going to talk about all the statistics that actually matter. And we're going to go over a few things. We're going to look at just the common statistics on how to determine my opinion and what I believe, who's going to come out successful, who's going to come out on top. Alright, remember that I told y'all this is my opinion. Alright, if you got your opinion, make sure to drop it down in the comments. Make sure to tell us who you're going to win. Remember, we're all a family. We're in this matrix together, so tell me what you believe. Tell me what you believe. Tell me who you think's gonna win. What are the scores? If you get the score right exactly, that's gonna be amazing. You can always have bragging rights. All right, so make sure to comment that in the comment section. All right, so the quarterbacks. Actually, let's talk about the 4 teams. Let's go. Just do the 4 teams that are in the postseason. If you haven't been watching the NFL, you've been missing out on some really good games this year. If you are a football fan, but the 4 teams that are left in the playoffs, we have the Kansas City Chiefs, we have the Los Angeles Rams, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, and we have the San Francisco 49ers. Alright, so those 4 teams are left in the remaining postseason. So we're going to see who comes out on top in about 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks in February, to see who's the champion of the 2021-2022 season. I'm going to tell y'all my pick at the end of the video. So y'all just make sure y'all listen. Make sure y'all are attentive. And just make sure to have fun. Make sure to comment. Blow it up. Blow up the comment section. Alright. So, like I said, we're going to talk about the quarterbacks. So the quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs is Patty McBuckets. Alright. Patrick Mahomes. Alright. There's nothing he can't do. I promise y'all. There's nothing he can't do. He's that spectacular. For the Los Angeles Rams, we have Matthew Stafford, all right, who's been showing up. He's been getting it. He's been getting the job done. He's been showing up this year, especially since he was in exile with the Detroit Lions going 0-16 with Megatron. We didn't forget Matthew. We didn't forget. Then you got Cincinnati Bengals. You have Joe Burrow, who's been showing up in big games since we've been watching him in college. He's at LSU showing up, and now he's in the NFL showing up. And then the last but not least, we got the San Francisco 49ers. Their quarterback is Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy G. All right, so who was supposed to be the predecessor to Cam. He was supposed to be before Cam, before Mac Jones. He was supposed to take the Patriots anywhere and everywhere after Brady left. But you know how that happened. You know, Bill Belichick had to get rid of him. Robert Kraft wanted him to get rid of him. All right, so with that being said, we're going to rank all these teams, but we're going to go over the stats just to clarify. So if anybody has any discrepancies with my opinion, we're going to look at the stats. I'm going to tell you why I think what it is at the end, but I'm just going to give everybody stats, all right? So the teams are the 4 teams left in the postseason on offense. Total yards. We have Kansas City Chiefs with 515 yards per game this postseason. That is remarkable. First in the NFL. We got Los Angeles Rams with 401 with Matthew Stafford throwing dimes. Alright, that is third in the postseason between all of the teams. Then we got Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. They average about 326 yards of total yards per game in the last two games this postseason. Then we got San Francisco, who averages 276 yards per game this postseason. So all of San Francisco's games have been very close games. It's been a very defensive battle in the NFC. All those defenses are great, and they make sure that they ain't not allowing any yards, y'all. So make sure to pay attention to that. All right. I'm in the AFC. Like I said, I'm a Ravens fan. If you don't know, Lamar Jackson, number 8. Hollywood Brown. So AFC, in my opinion, is all about the points. We're all about offenses. We're going to put up some points. We're going to score. You just got to stop us. NFC is more defensive, in my opinion. The more we're going to stop you, we're not going to allow you to have any room to do anything. We're going to be tough. We're going to play tough, hard, knocks football. That's what the NFC is about, in my opinion. All right, so passing yards. This is per game, y'all. Passing yards per game this postseason. All right, this postseason. I'm not talking about regular season. I'm talking about postseason. All right, this Chiefs, we got 371 yards per game. 371 yards per game. That's crazy. That's almost 400 yards per game, just passing the ball. Then you got the Rams with 310 yards. And then the Bengals with 252 yards passing per game. And then the 49ers with a measly 139 yards passing per game. All right, all of these offenses are different. They all are made up different. I don't think any of these offenses are similar to each other at all. But I think 3 out of these 4 teams are very air-oriented. I think they're very pass-heavy. Let's go over the rushing yards. All right. So, like we saw the Chiefs have the #1 passing yards in the postseason. Obviously, with that battle, that duel that Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen had yesterday. So that's what I think. That's what puts them up there so much. Patrick Mahomes had to pass the ball to get them out of that hole. The Bills, I don't know how they gave that up. They had the #1 defense in the regular season. I don't understand how in the world did the Bills give that up. Then we got rushing yards. All right, I'm not even going to the Bills game that much because if I go in, I'm gonna get upset because I was rooting for the Bills to beat the Chiefs yesterday. But it was a fantastic game. I have to give my hats off to everybody who played yesterday. All the games this postseason have been remarkably good. They have been great. This postseason is probably one of the best I've seen overall in a long time. There's been a lot of close games. I don't think we only had a very few blowouts. I think we only had 2 this postseason, but it was still fun to watch those blowouts. So, all right, let's go on these rushing yards. All right, rushing yards is just as important as passing. Rushing gets you where you need to go. All right, I play tight end / offensive line, so I understand when we rushing, we running the ball. And like I said, I'm a coach, so what we're going to do, we establish the run first. If you establish the run, you will be able to pass. I promise you that. They will have to stack the box, 8-man, 7-man box, easy. All right, we're going to target our receivers. So our rushing yards, we got 144 rushing yards in this postseason in the last 2 games by the Kansas City Chiefs, with the most rushing yards out of the 4 teams left. We have the Rams with 106 rushing yards. Like I said, if you have any discrepancies, make sure to fact check me. Please fact check me, y'all. All right, if I'm wrong, y'all let me know. Last 2 games, we got the Rams with 106 yards per game. Then we got the Bengals with 74 yards rushing per game. And then we got the 49ers with 137.5 yards rushing per game. So, rushers, we have Clyde Edwards-Helaire with the Kansas City Chiefs. We got Cam Akers with Los Angeles Rams. We got Joe Mixon with the Bengals. And we got Mitchell with the 49ers and sometimes Deebo Samuel. All right. So the 49ers on this list, in my opinion, is the most run-heavy team on this list. I think not having that advantage of having a quarterback who is reliable in the 4th quarter. Yes, Jimmy G, I'm coming for you because you turned the ball over a little bit too much in the 4th quarter to my liking. But I think you'll be more wonderful if you do not do that. But the 49ers use their rushing attack very versatile. They use Deebo at running back. And then they'll put Mitchell back there again and have Mitchell carry the rest of the game. And then put Debo right back in the game. And I love their rushing attack. I think the 49ers have the most versatile rushing attack. And to have a receiver at running back, I know that is hard. Even though Debo is a big, stocky receiver, I understand, like, receivers sometimes don't want to get hit in the middle. And he's taking that thing and going right up the middle with it. Then we got the Rams with Cam Akers. Cam Akers fumbled the ball all yesterday. All yesterday. All he did was fumble, but he had a all right game. I'm not gonna say he had a great game because he did fumble, almost cost the game up at the very end to the GOAT. I understand it's the GOAT. I understand the GOAT's gonna come back. Like, if y'all think Tom Brady is the GOAT, I need everybody to put in the comments the GOAT emoji or just write GOAT. If you think Tom Brady is the GOAT, make sure to put the GOAT emoji. Alright? Because I will honestly tell y'all Tom Brady is the GOAT. He's got 7 of them things. No other player has 7 Super Bowl titles. Tom Brady is the GOAT, y'all. But back to the rushing. We got Clyde Edwards-Helaire with the rushing yards. The Chiefs use him. Third down situations, going to use him with screens. Going to make sure he gets up the middle. They're going to use him for short yardage. Very, very stocky. Not too big, a little short. But able to get in the holes, able to get first downs. Cam Akers, same type of guy. Very shifty, very elusive. Not going to try to run you over, but going to try to blow past you or fake you out, juke you out. Going to get yards coming off that ACL injury. And then Mitchell run you over, Debo run you over, or they're going to run by you. All right, so rushing yards, I'm going to give in the NFC, 49ers have the advantage. AFC, I think Joe Mixon is better than Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but the Bengals have been going up against big defensive tackles, going up against guys who stop the run. I think Joe Mixon's going to have a great, fantastic game going against the Chiefs, running up the middle, running on the outside, catching balls with screens. I think they're going to need him to do that to overcome Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and that firepower that they got on the other side of the ball. I think Joe Mixon's going to be a crucial part to open up the game for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. That's going to be very, very important. So I'm going to give the edge in rushing to the Bengals. All right, so the Bengals have the edge in rushing. Points per game on offense. We got 42 points per game by the Chiefs. 42 points per game. 32 points by the Rams. 22.5 points per game by the Bengals. 18 points from the 49ers. Like I said, NFC, y'all, I think more defensive battles. 49ers definitely had a defensive battle going up against them boys in Green Bay. Stopping Aaron Rodgers, getting to where we are now. Then we have the Bengals putting up points. They had to go against the Tennessee Titans, who are going to stop the run. We're going to run the ball, run the clock, run it down their throats. And I think for them to put up that amount of points, they had an excellent game plan. Overcame them, able to run the clock, able to get the highlight plays, making plays. That is what we're going to need to see in the AFC Championship game for them to win. We got the Rams with 32 points. We had Cooper Kupp catching that long bomb to end the game. Honestly, it shouldn't even been that close. But like Matthew Stafford said in his interview yesterday, that he would rather have a 3-touchdown blowout. But it's always fun for them to come back. So I was glad to see him smiling, glad to see him happy, knowing he had them playoff woes before he came to the Rams. So I'm glad to see him doing his thing with the Rams. Then you got the Chiefs. You got that immaculate game. You have Patrick Mahomes putting up points. You have Patrick Mahomes doing everything he needed to do, scoring in 13 seconds. Dallas couldn't even nail the ball in 13 seconds. And Patrick Mahomes took it all the way down in 13 seconds. Kicked the field goal, tied the game up, won the game in overtime. Like I said, I can't credit that game enough. One of the best games I've ever seen in my lifetime. All right, so on the offensive side of the ball, out of all 4 teams, the Chiefs are the best offense, in my opinion. The Rams are second. Third is the Bengals. Fourth is the 49ers. All right, I think the 49ers has the best rushing attack out of all four teams. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have the best passing attack. Overall, the Rams have the best rushing and passing attack, in my opinion. And then the Bengals caught in the middle, but Bengals are definitely going to show out. Shout out to my boy Auden Tate. Make sure to get healthy. We're rooting for you down here in the SC. Defense. All right. So let's go and analyze the defensive side of the ball, y'all. The defensive side of the ball. In total yards, we have the Chiefs. They give up 339 yards per game the last two games in the postseason. 339 yards. Josh Allen was going off. But to average 339 yards per game, that's a lot of yards. Rams, 271 total yards. That means they're doing a job on the run and the pass, not allowing everybody. I think Tom Brady brought that average a little bit up with that comeback he had. Total yards, 369 from the Bengals, the most by all four teams. Giving up the run. Derrick Henry had a little splash plays. A.J. Brown, Julio was definitely catching the balls on the sideline, doing their thing. And then 49ers with another stout defense of 285 yards, total yards per game. One of the best defensive fronts, definitely. Out of the Rams and 49ers, this is going to be a great clash of defensive line, defensive tackle. The big concern with these two teams is definitely not on the defensive side of the ball. It's definitely on offense. But all of these four teams, in my opinion, except for the Chiefs, have an alright defensive line. I think Chris Jones on the Chiefs. Nope, I'm going to take that back. I rephrase that. Melvin Ingram on the Chiefs, when I saw yesterday, very shocked me. He had a very resurgence. He was blowing people over. And I'd love to see it. Love to see him in that 2-4. We ain't forget Melvin Ingram, University of South Carolina. Oh, yeah, I remember seeing him growing up. Gamecock. But Rams and 49ers definitely the best defenses out of all four teams. Kansas City and Cincinnati, it's a toss-up. Best defensive player on Cincinnati is either TJ or is Jesse Bates. Is one other. So that's defensive line and your safety. So they got the Bengals is going to need to hold up. They're going to need the pass rush. They're going to need the cover in the back end. Jesse Bates is definitely going to have a good game. I think he's going to need to double Tyreek Hill in order for them to beat the Chiefs. I think he's going to need to follow Tyreek around and just over the top. Make sure that he doesn't get over the top. Passing. All right, the Chiefs allow 257 yards passing. Bengals, 247 yards passing per game. The Rams, 215 passing yards per game. And then the 49ers at 213 passing yards per game. Chiefs, secondary, safeties is hurt. Tyrann Mathieu, hopefully he can come back, but I don't think he's going to come back and play next game against the Bengals. I think if they win, I think he'll play in the Super Bowl, but I don't think he's going to be playing in the next game. So they're going to definitely need help on the back end because Joe Burrow is definitely going to exploit that. Definitely one-on-one with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. That's going to be a good matchup. And then not to mention tight end in the middle. Joe Burrow's going to hit him every single time. Tight end, he's able to do anything. His catch radius is wild. I think he's going to be mentioned up there with the top tight ends very soon. He's definitely growing his name out there. It's a toss-up between the 49ers and the Rams when it comes down to that secondary. I think the Rams have more talent in the secondary. Definitely with Jalen Ramsey being probably the best corner in the game right now, even though he gave up that deep ball caught lacking by Brady. Mike Evans caught him lacking, and then Brady hit him over the top. That was the only bad play I've ever seen Jalen Ramsey play this season in the postseason. Just that over-the-top ball this postseason. Other than that, I think he's been solid. I think that pass rush is going to affect are going to affect all these quarterbacks. Definitely the Rams has the best pass rush, I think, in the playoffs. I think the 49ers are right behind them. Considering the quarterback, Jimmy G is going to have a lot of pressure on him uh, to get out the pocket, to make plays, to extend plays, to not turn the ball over because he is exceptionally well at turning the ball over. I think that's going to be his number one critical thing. Then rushing, the Chiefs allow 82 yards rushing per game in this postseason. Not too bad, stopping the teams on the rush. I know they got big Chris Jones in the middle. He's holding down the fort. And then rushing, the Rams have the best up front defensive linemen, like I said, so they're only allowing 56 yards per game rushing. Bengals, they're having a little bit of trouble, but I know they went up against Derrick Henry coming back off injury, and the Tennessee Titans' heavy rushing offense, because Ryan Tannehill was throwing the ball, turning it over. They are averaging 121.5 yards rushing per game, and that's most out of all four teams. Then you have the 49ers, that stout defense, with 72 yards rushing per game this postseason. So, rushing the ball, that's definitely going to be a problem. The Chiefs don't rush the ball so much, so the 121.5 yards by the Bengals along rush doesn't faze me that much. I think that they will be all right. I think they'll be able to overcome it. I don't think Clyde Edwards-Helaire is going to be able to rush against that front four. And then the Chiefs, I think Joe Mixon is going to exploit them. I think Joe Mixon is going to have a career day. They're going to need him to have a career day to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field and that dynamic offense off the field. Then we got Ram with Cam Akers. If Cam Akers does not turn the ball over, I think he will rush all right. I think he'll have probably 70 yards exactly, and I think that's all they need for him to have 70 yards. Mitchell on the Rams, I think he's going to struggle, but I think he's going to be able to break a couple runs. He definitely can break a couple runs. But that's going to be a very good game defensively. Points. Let's go to points. Points per game, last two games by all four teams. Chiefs defense is allowing 28.5. The Rams is allowing 19 points per game. Bengals, they're allowing the lowest at 13.5. And the 49ers are allowing 17.5 points per game. So we're definitely going to see how that's going to work. The Chiefs are allowing so much more points. So much more points than anybody out all four teams. And I think Joe Burrow, like I said, is going to be able to exploit that. The Rams holding teams to 19 points. I think that's enough for Matthew Stafford to put up more points, considering they went up against the GOAT, and they're still only averaging 19 points. That's still fantastic. Bengals 13.5. They've gone up and stood the test against every single body this year, including my Ravens. They have stood the test, won the hardest division in the AFC, and their defense doesn't allow any points. When they get into the red zone, it's very hard to score. I take that back. The Bengals defense was one of the worst in the red zone. I take that back. But in the playoffs, they have been cracking it down. Like I said, we're talking about playoffs, but last few weeks the Bengals have been cracking down in that red zone. Or most time they don't even allow you to get to the red zone. But if you get to that red zone, you will have a wonderful chance. So they're going to have to stop Patrick Mahomes from getting inside the red zone. And then 49ers 17.5. That defense is so stout. Go up against Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, making sure that he's not scoring, so they were able to hold him. And they were able to do that in the season that which we thought Aaron Rodgers was going to win the Super Bowl, to be honest. I thought Aaron Rodgers was going to take it and win it all this year. Him and Kyler, I thought them two were going to take that step, but we saw that the Cardinals blew second half of the season. We saw Green Bay blow the playoff game last Saturday. So we just have to understand that the 49ers defense is no joke, y'all. They're no joke. I promise you. So for my picks, I got in the NFC coming out winning the game between the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. I got the Rams. I have them winning by just 3. I have them winning 27-24. All right. I think Jimmy G is not going to turn the ball over as much. I think Matthew Stafford is going to fire to Odell, but I think that Cooper Kupp is going to have him a good day. But I think they're going to be run heavy, considering that I don't think they're going to have as many possessions, considering that the 49ers are going to run the clock. And then Kansas City and Cincinnati. I have Cincinnati coming out with the upset, 24-26. All right, 24-26. I think Cincinnati is going to start off and get a safety at the beginning of the game. I think coming off the edge, rushing, I think that's going to mess up Patty Mahomes. I think that pass rush is going to get to him. And after that, I think Joe Burrow's going to have a good day. I think Jamar Chase is going to have a career day. I think Joe Mixon is going to run the ball, going to catch the ball in the backfield. I think he's going to have an extraordinary day. I think he's going to have a career day in order for them to beat the Chiefs. And I don't see the Chiefs' defense being able to stop Cincinnati. I think they're just going to have to play another shootout game. But I think Cincinnati has the potential to stop Kansas City if they understand how to play situational football and make sure not to turn over the ball, not to just get flustered. Make sure they understand and try to make Patrick Mahomes uneasy. If you can rush Patrick Mahomes, we have seen that he is able to not make the plays and have a bad day. We saw it last year in the Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. We saw it the year before with the 49ers before they made that outstanding comeback. So I think Cincinnati is able to do it, considering we just saw Josh Allen and the Bills and their number one defense try to stop Patrick Mahomes. I think Cincinnati's going to take a look at that game and make adjustments and make sure to try to do their best against them. Like I said, I got Cincinnati and I got the Rams. I got Cincinnati and the Rams in the Super Bowl this year. So y'all let me know who y'all got in the Super Bowl. Let me know what's your score. Let me know if I said anything wrong. Let me know if my opinion is off. Y'all give me as much feedback because we're a family. And thank you for coming to the Matrix. I will see y'all in episode 3. Y'all have a good one. Peace.